Yeah, so I have this little character here that I started off of this template you see here. And I went in Illustrator and traced this all out here with just separate pieces here. Let me just hide them out here. I didn't finish this here. I didn't finish this fully because in After Effects here, I'm going to set them up so that we can take advantage of some of the parts here, and I'm going to just try to sort of minimize some of the work by duplicating some of the parts. But this workflow here, you guys can do this either in in whatever. As long you guys can do this on Procreate, you guys can do this in Photoshop, Illustrator. I like this idea of Illustrator because there are some advantages to using vectors. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but you don't have to necessarily do it in Illustrator. The point is, as long as you can separate your parts into layers, this would work. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save out my my document here. Let me just hide this out here. Hide this, and as long as we have this, I think this should work. This I can probably just even throw this away. Let's do that here. I'm going to just take my original drawing here and throw it away. For those of you guys that may be wondering here, the way I traced this here, I took my reference image and where is it? Yeah, I took my reference image. And where is that? And I set it to transparency with a blend mode of a multiply. Let me just check something here. That's what it is, okay. So here, you can see here, this is the reference image here, and you can see, just like in Photoshop, you have some options for working with the blend mode here. So here under opacity, I set this to multiply so that you can see through the white and keep the black. I don't really need that, that's just for a guide here. In fact, I might do the strokes as in a different way here in Photoshop and After Effects. So I'm going to take this guy here and select that and just throw it away. And let's, I know this looks weird here, but there's a reason for that. In fact, I still would like the white of his eye here, which I don't have, but I'll put that in here afterwards. So here, I'm going to save as, and we can go, and I would just save it somewhere that you can find here. Let's call this Halloween. All right. So now in After Effects here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in this character here. So we're going to go to either File, Import, or you can go here to right-click and import and bring it into the project here. So what is it? Halloween monster. That's what we want. And I'm going to import this in. And this time we're going to bring it in not as footage, but as a composition. And the reason we can bring it in as a composition is because in that composition, there can be like multiple things. You can have like, you can have multiple layers to begin with, and then in a little bit, you're going to see how how I can take advantage even more of this composition and have like animations running inside the main one. I'll just bring this in as a composition. And let it do its thing here to import this in. Take a little while here. There we are. All right, so now you can see when it brought it in, if I open up this little folder here, you're going to see all the different parts here laid out. And that's the great thing about compositions. Be it, if you design your character in Photoshop and Illustrator and Procreate, the point is when you bring things in this composition, as long as you set up layers and your program is capable to produce layers, then you're going to have them come in as separate pieces here. And this is great because here, if you guys check this out here, look, I'm going to jump into this composition here, and we get this is our character here. You can see, let me just enable the background so it's a little easier for us to see. So this is really what I want here. I've got all these little pieces here as separate things, and let me go and set up a character that we might want to work with here. So I've got this guy, this is his arm, and if I rotate this around here, look at what happens here. You see it's rotating on the center. So what I want to do here is I want to come up here, the top bar of in After Effects, and you'll see there's a little tool here called Pan Behind, and I'm simply going to rotate the pivot to somewhere that makes sense. And so now his arm is doing this thing, which feels like it makes more sense. What else? Let's take the leg. I didn't really think about the order here, but I should. I'm going to put his leg behind the body here. And let's take that, that little pivot point here, the anchor point, and I'm going to move it here to somewhere that makes sense for that. And then now, if I rotate this, this leg, you can see it doing this sort of thing, which is cool. What else? I'll just do the same for, I don't care too much about the eye, but you know what? I'll just keep it there. Horn, not a big deal. Ear, yeah, the ear is kind of a little bit more important. I'll put that somewhere that makes sense, like right here. So if I wanted to flop his ears around, you know, I could do that sort of thing here, which is kind of appealing, right? I have the arm, the body. Yes, the body is important. So what I want to think about here is the center of gravity of this character. I like this character design because, at least for this class here, because he's very simple to work with here. He's just one piece, and it's going to make it easy for us to sort of understand. And, you know, I only have one thing to manipulate here just to get the character in. So I'm going to take a little pivot point. I'm going to put it somewhere here in the center of this big ball that's his body, right? So it's something like that. And so now if I were to move him around and bounce him around, that's kind of like, that feels, does that feel right? Yeah, that's more or less like what I would think of his center. Let me see here. Is that a little better? I don't know. Yeah, so something like that. All right, and it looks like I'm kind of done with his centers here. Let's think about, I said I would want to add the white of his eye here, so let's go ahead and do that here. And I'm going to do that within After Effects here. If I have something selected here, such as the eye pupil, and I do this, and I draw a shape, what's going to happen there is it's going to draw a mask around my layer. So be it a pixel layer or a vector layer or whatever, it's going to draw a mask around that. So what I think I want to do here, I mean, I kind of want that, but I'm going to do this a different way. I'm going to just not select something here and just draw a shape of some sort. And I don't think I want his eyes to be like completely white. I'm going to give that a little bit of a yellow tint here. And that's what I want. I'll call this, I don't know what you call this, little eye white. Let's hit enter here, and I'll call this eye white. And here, let's put the eye pupil above the eye white. There we go. And then, okay, cool. So what this is going to let us do is if I move this around here, you know, I have an eye. This looks kind of like the original design. However, if I take the pupil over here, look, it's sort of spilling outside the eye. What I think I want to do here is I want to make sure that I can see my, my blend modes and the track mats here. So if you're seeing this, if you're seeing your layers panel look like this, I think this is by default how it is. You see 3D layers, you see the parent, and you see these things here. I'm going to switch this around here to the other mode. So if you toggle the switches down here, now you're able to see the track mats and some things like that. So I'm going to go to eye pupil here and pick the track mat. It has a little pick whip here. And eye pupil, I'm going to just have it. I'm going to have it be in the eye white. Now watch what happens when I let go of this. Look, if I let go of this, then this becomes invisible here. What I'm going to do here is just turn this back on so that we can see it. Now guys, check this out. What I can do is if I move this around, you see it stays hidden inside that layer, which is kind of cool. That's kind of what I wanted here. I guess I could have drawn the eye pupil. Yeah, I could have drawn the eye pupil in Illustrator, but you know why I did this here, and I guess you could do that here as well. This is kind of cool, guys. Check this out. So this is kind of cool here because I have a shape layer, and one of the advantages of the shape layer is that I can go in and we can take the ellipse path, for example. a different way. I guess we could do that way. We could take, I guess with a vector shape here, you can take the ellipse path here, for example, and you can modify it here. So for example, it's an ellipse. Let me do this a different way here. Here, so instead of doing the ellipse here, I'm going to just draw my own circle here. There. So that's kind of like the eye that I have here. And I'm going to do this again. So this time with my own shape layer. Now here's the advantage that I was saying here. So if I take this, make it belong inside shape layer, we turn up, let's call this eye white. Eye white. And now if I, take the eye pupil, move it around, it stays hidden. Now here's the advantage of doing this with a shape layer here. You can actually draw this in Illustrator too if you want. But here's the cool thing here. So like in here, I could set a keyframe here for the shape of that layer here, and then over here, if I wanted to change the shape here, you could do different expressions here. So we could say like if we wanted this character to be mad, we could take the shape of his eye here. Watch what happens. So now I have this little shape here. Watch. See? So I can do things like that, if I wanted to, just by doing, maybe I can do a blink or whatever. So it's kind of a cool feature to have, if you wanted to work with vectors and things, you now have the ability to move those little points around. Those points in a vector image are very usable things in animation, So I could do some cool sort of some things with that. So yeah, I'll just keep this here for now. And using that same idea, I think I'm going to set up. This is one eye. What else? All this stuff here is one eye. So maybe maybe we can do this. Look, I'm going to just take these and just to keep things organized. I think I'm going to parent this to this eye here. So I can just move this here, move this here, and so now if I move the eye white to here. So if I move the eye, this stuff goes with it here. So that's going to make things a little easier on my end here. Mouth, I think I'm going to do the same thing. With the mouth, it's kind of easier here. I think, oh, yeah. One last thing that's missing here. I forgot to put the black part here for his mouth here. So I think what I'm going to do is, let's go in here, and I'm going to I'm just going to put a black shape around everything here. Or we can do a very dark red. There. And I'll throw this behind the mouth. That should be enough. Let me get this a little darker. And let's take mouth and this, and I'll recompose that into a single composition. Or what I could even do is I could do a similar thing here to set up the shape here. I guess just to keep things simple here, let me just make this a composition. I didn't think of this before. I'll make a composition here. Ideally, what the best thing would be? Ideally would be if I had this designed this way. I should have done that here. And maybe I could. So let me just we'll just keep it here. We'll do this here. So I'll pre-compose this into a single layer. We'll call this mouth. Single composition. So now this is its own composition here. And if I were to jump in there, I can see the separate pieces. But for now, I think all I want to do is I want to draw. I want to draw in the shape of this guy's mouth. There. So, what I can do with this here is I could, I have this little thing here that I could pretty much do the same thing if I wanted to talk to them. Now, if I wanted to get complex with this, what I could even do here, maybe a better workflow would be this. So I could probably take this now, and maybe with these, I have two shapes here. Ideally, I should probably have like one shape, one piece for each part of the jaw here, and that way I can make it talk. What I could probably do here is I could just have a setup like the eye here, where I have a separate layer driving the shape here. You know what, just for simplicity's sake, I'll just keep it like this for now. All right, so I'm kind of ready to go here with this, and I'm going to parent this to the body. In fact, I'm going to parent all these things here to the body. And so now if I move the body here, this is the trick here. If I move the body here, everything else should go with it. So another thing I want here, I want the eye. Let's duplicate all these things here, and I'm going to duplicate that here to fit the eye. There. All right, so we have these two eyes here. And here's a trick, you guys, that we can do to separate things out. So here, this stuff is going to get really, really full really quickly. So one thing we can do here is you can change the color of your layers to make it easier to find on, on the layers. There. So that's going to be this eye. This is going to be this other eye. We'll do that in blue. Mouth, I don't care. Horn, maybe just to keep a sort of a system together here, I could do, I don't know, I can do blue or something. And now with all these here, I'll just borrow these here and move them over to the other side. Let's flip that around. I can right click on that here, and I can go to transform, and I can flip horizontal here by right click. There we go. I can flip that. I can just put it here sort of where it belongs. Probably gonna have to rebuild this here a little bit. So the horn in here, go back here. The horn actually needs a new spot right over here somewhere. And in fact, the ear, yeah, the ear needs to be above that eye again, right? Or not? Yes, Shari.
So could you take it apart like in Adobe Illustrator itself, or should you like go to After Effects and
Either way, so I chose to make my my character in Illustrator, or you can do it in Photoshop, or what you could do if you have them separated out in pieces. So let me show you something here. If you have it separated out in pieces here, like here you go. So yeah, the analogy I always make, it's like a cutout doll, right? So if you have something like this, you could put together your little monster like that, right? That's kind of the idea for that. So I mean, however you choose to do it. And if you were to do it like with separate pieces laid out like that, what you could do is you could create a mask that, you know how I did the eye, where I'm hiding pieces here. So for example, look, if I were to take this this piece of this image here, I could draw a shape around this here and cut out that piece of the image here. So in the same way, like if you wanted to just make one big image and then use your masks in After Effects, to cut them out, you could do it that way. And then I would just be making copies of that layer, the specific layers, and make it that way. So it's however you choose to go about it. I did mine in the art program because I thought that would be easier for me, just to separate it out into layers, but you can do it this way as well. All right, so let's see, we got this guy. Yeah, so this is kind of going to work here, so let me see what we got here.
Daniel,
Yes.
when I tried using text animation, opacity, and by watching these tutorial videos, I tried using offset, opacity, after I learned, and they won't let me do anything. Offset won't let me change the percentage of it from 0 to 100.
Let me figure that out a little bit. Let me just finish this example here, Riley, and I'll check it out. All right, so I have this, guys, and last thing I'm missing here is I need to parent this to the body, and let's see what happens. Oh, arms need to be parented to the body too. So basically everything needs to belong to something here. So I've got 2 arms for this character, and I'm going to point those to the body. It looks like everything except the horn is hooked up, right? Oh, horn 2 needs to be parented to the body as well. There we go. All right, so if I select the body, let's do this. I'm going to change the color of this to yellow. There. So if I were to move this guy around, I've got one missing ear there. So what's this guy about? Right here, that needs to be parented to the body. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this guy out as a little template here, and let's go and duplicate this this layer. Let's duplicate it here, and we'll jump into this one here, and I'm going to change this one's name, and we'll call this walk, right? And so with walk, we can do some things here to set this up. So what I want to do here is I'm going to have them actually walk to a certain side. Check this out. So some of the things that we might not want to deal with here, okay? Some of the things that I don't want to deal with here for now are just, let's say, the little details of the pupils. So if you scroll down the layers here, there's a lot of this stuff is getting really complex here. There's a lot of stuff going on here that I don't necessarily want. So let me show you guys a trick here. I can just choose not to deal with it here. So for example, guys, check this out. So you guys see this little box here next to all the 3D stuff here, right? So you should be in this mode here where you see the 3D, these other icons here. There's a little box here that has a little picture of a man sort of hiding behind a wall or something, right? A little guy. And what I can do is I can enable what you call shy layers. And so here under, for example, eye pupil, I'm going to enable that one. Eye pupil white, I don't care about that one. Eye 2, I do care. And I'm going to just do these and just like selectively just choose what I don't want to deal with here for now. So as soon as I hit this little, the main button here above here, the shy thing, look at that. Well, I'll just do a bunch of them here. So for example, if I don't want to deal with mouth, horn, ear, horn and ear. What else? Let me just make this bigger for you to see. So as soon as I hit the shy button, watch what happens to my layers, guys. Oh, excuse me. Over here, this button here. As soon as I hit this button here, the shy button here, watch. Look at that, it's much, much simpler, so I can get rid of the clutter a little bit, but here's the thing, I didn't delete those layers, they're still there, it's just, I'm just choosing not to deal with them right now. So that's something that can help your workflow here, just to avoid like confusion and things. So with this here maybe, let's see, got eye, yeah, cool, so I have eyes, arms, body, leg, very simple. So here, as far as I'm concerned right now, even though this character is kind of complex here, I can just move the body and he does everything here. So what I think I want to do here for the animation, guys, is I'm going to do a simple little walk. Typically, most walks are going to be, about a second long. So what I think I'm going to do here for this one is let's do, what are we at? We are at 30 frames per second, right? So here under composition settings, if I'm at 30 frames per second, then 1 second of animation is going to be 30 frames. So I'm going to give this, either you can type in 30 or you can just type in 1 over here, 1 and 20 frames, or just 1 second. Excuse me, yeah, excuse me, I was wrong, that was 1 second. So 1 second and 1 frame. So let me just do that, and that should give us 30 frames. There we go. So I got 1 second of animation here, and I'm simply going to do a very, very simple little walk cycle to begin with here, okay? So for starters, I want this guy going in a direction, and so maybe for this one here, I'm going to go, let's take the eyes here, and I think I want him headed in that direction, so let me see, whoops. This could probably be drawn in a different direction, in a different sort of thing here. Maybe you can just take both of these here, and let's move them to the side like so. Here with this thing here, let's do the same. I'm going to scale that over here maybe. This guy, I forgot to mess around with this, so let's put that over here somewhere. And I'll bring that over here. And here, what we could do is we could scale that down as well. And we can change this to be something like that, right? So now he's sort of at his, at his side more or less. Take this and move it back. You know what? This one, it shouldn't be there at all. It should be behind the head. So I'm gonna enable the shy thing again, so I can access that layer. And here, if we select that horn, it needs to be behind the body, so I can just do that and then just hide it again. All right, so here, let's see, we can, what I think I want to do here, just so we can see the dimension on him here, I think I want to add an effect here, and for this one here, we could probably add a simple drop shadow effect or something. Let's see if we got a stroke. Or we could do a stroke, I guess. Let's do a stroke here on the arm. And for the stroke here, let's see what we got. No, not that. Let's do a drop shadow. There we go. And I'm going to spread this out a little ways here, like so. We can choose the direction where we want the shadow, or you just want a sort of an outline here, like so. Same thing here with the body. Let's give the body a drop shadow. That way it's going to cast a shadow on the other things here. Great, and that's more or less what I want here for this character. So, all right, so let me show you kind of what I had in mind here for the walk cycle here. So for the walk cycle, I want him just going in one direction. So let me, I'm going to change one more thing about this here, which he's walking. He's going to be walking screen left to right. So let me take leg. Or this leg. You know what? I'm just going to just delete this here, and we can just focus on just this leg. So leg 1, and let's start thinking about how we're going to animate this here. So usually when I start animating something here, I'll start with the center of gravity, which is this character here, and the whole idea here is this is a continuous animation, so the start is going to be the same as the end here. So I think here, you know, I'm going to open up body, and we're going to go to transform. Let's go to position, and I'm going to put a little keyframe here. One very important thing here is I want to see that I have enough room to do my animation here. So if I want to bouncing up and down here, you know, I want to think about the composition that I'm in here. Does it have enough room to show, you know, how far he's moving and stuff. So if you don't, one thing you might want to think about here is go to composition and increase the size that you need here. So if you need more height, you can go ahead and add it in the size here. And just know that it doesn't really matter that you don't have anything here. If you put this composition over something else, then you're going to see transparency. So this is basically what I have. It just gives me a little bit more room to play with here. So anyway, I've got the body here in this position. Let me go and make another keyframe here at the end, and then sort of towards the middle here. Yeah, this is more or less the what I call the contact poses. So these are the poses here that this character is touching the ground here. So this his foot is touching the ground. He makes contact with the ground. Over here in the middle of these here, he's going to sort of like be moving his leg, and so he's going to be moving his leg to do what you call a passing pose here. So this leg is kind of in a number 4 position. So he's basically hopping up and down. This is a different one here, so I might as well just copy this and then just paste it here. Whoops. Let's just copy this frame. And here in the middle of these here, I'm going to just paste this right here under position. There we go. So here's the result of what I have here. If I press play, you know, this is nice because I can get a feel of how this character is moving here. So this is a simple little animation to give me you know, a sense of what he's doing. The next thing I'm going to do here, actually, let's see. So before he goes back up, he presses down here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this layer here, Control C, and then here around this, let's go back here to this. I'll press Control V. Actually, that's more in the middle of it here. So here, I'm actually going to move him down here, this place here. So he lands and he presses his weight down against the ground. He goes back up. Take that, Control C, and then right about here again, we can do that. So it's just a little pattern here. And here, maybe he feels like a light character, so I'll move him up. All right, so if I play this through, there we go. Got this nice little effect here, right? Now, what we could even do, if you guys wanted to, what we could even do is you can access some of that with the graph editor here. And that's this little button here, see? And that makes things accessible so that you can really tweak like how fast they move into the animation here. That's going up. yeah, this feels about right, but I think I want the motions to be a little smoother here. So what I can do here is I can round out these different effects here. Excuse me, there we go, the curves. Let's see what that gives me here. There we go, a little bit smoother, see? All right, so that's kind of my up and down motion that I want for this character. Let's think about the legs now. So for the leg, I'm going to just focus on one leg for now. And I'm going to open this up. Let's open up the transform here. I can do position. I guess I could do position, but I'm really mostly interested in the rotation. So for the rotation here, I'm going to just take his feet, move something like that over here, and sort of get him more in this pose with the leg open here. And I'll key that one in here, and the end here has to be the same because it loops, right? So I'll just set a little keyframe here at the end. And then towards the middle here, we have the opposite where it's like, it's more in that direction. And now that I'm seeing it this way, yeah, I think I actually do want his leg to move as well. So I'm going to take my position keyframes and do the same. So I'll do a position here, and I'll put another one right here, position. And then here, I'll actually move it back. I'll set a keyframe here, or you can just go ahead and move it back, but make sure you lock the loop. The beginning and the end need to be the same. So yeah, I'm going to just move this over here like so. There we go. This is what you call that's what you call the down pose right here. Maybe over here, this is going to be, excuse me. So here he's sort of moving up here. Maybe that's a little too much movement on the character. I really do want to get a sense of the ground here, so he's doing this. I'm not going to get everything I want out of this character here because it's just one solid piece here. So maybe in here though, we can do that. So yeah, you guys. So check it out. So this character is kind of stiff. He's only one piece. Now I could have built him in separate pieces, which would make things a little bit easier for me to animate in here. But it's no big deal. I can get around this this thing here with this leg. I can get around it with this little effect here for the puppet warp. Now, how you guys choose to work with this, it's up to you. I think I would rather have separate control of the different pieces here. So I would rather have built him in separate pieces here. But you could just take the leg and just start putting some pins in here. So like, for example, here, 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 and here. I've put a little way of bending this character here. So if we open up the puppet pins that you see here, so under leg, you'll now see, once you put the puppet pins, you'll now see something called effects. Open effects up, you'll see the puppet, and then under puppet, you'll see mesh, and if you go back down here to deform, you'll see all the little puppet pins that you can access now. So here, it's already put something on my first frame. I'm going to go ahead and just key it here for the last frame, and then maybe on this frame here, we can just do something here. So right about here, this is going to be my passing pose. So in the passing pose, let's do something here. I really want to lock down where this character is walking, where he's walking. So let's do this. Here he's pressing down here. And I think right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bend the shape of these things here. So let's select those little puppet pins. I'll just take, I'll take this and just move it around here. You can see this is bending now. Now as it presses down, you can see the leg bending. And then here, guess I could do a better job with that. Push it back up. And we can even get a little bend in the feet there with this. Now this needs to bend this way here. So let's see. There we go. So here, just with that here, I've got one little foot here, more or less moving around. This is what you call the up pose. So maybe over here, I'll have them do this sort of thing, sort of preparing to land the foot. And yeah, that's pretty much the little. That's pretty much just one leg, and you know I did that. It seems a little involved, right? But that's the whole point. I don't have to do it again once I do this one here. I can just recycle. If you build your character a certain way, then you can recycle him. So I'm going to just take leg. I'm going to duplicate that here, and let's put that in front here. There's one catch to this, okay? There's one catch here to this, and I actually, for this leg here, I actually moved his, I moved it back and forth here. So if I were to just move this here, I can't really do that because it's going to pop back to the other side here. So what I want to do here is I'm going to pre-compose this again, and we'll just call this leg. Now with leg, let's see. Yeah, leg is fine right there. I can just duplicate this here and bring this other leg up to in front of the body. In front of the body? No, I'll have this just in front of that other leg here. And I'll put that over here more or less. Let's give this a drop shadow as well. Just so it casts a little shadow on that. And now if I run this through, whoops. Well, I guess I could. I see what it's doing here just because of the vectors. So let me see. Yeah, let me try this here. So let's take this. I'm going to just put a drop shadow on this. And this is its own. Yeah, okay, so I see. In this case here, I guess what I could do here to move it back, I could just take all these here. Remember the graph editor? What I could do here is I could just go here to position, and I could just take this whole line here of the red ones, that these are the horizontal position. Let's press this button to separate out dimensions, and I can just move all that stuff back. There, you can see it moving here more or less that way. Here. There. So that's kind of what I want. So now, anyway, the point is, I have these two legs. Let's close out the graph editor here. I have these two legs, and I can see it sort of moving around like that. Now the whole thing is I want to offset them here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the second leg here, and remember it's 30 frames. So I'm going to scoot this half of a cycle back, which is like 15 frames, right about here. And what the result of this that I'm going to get here is basically he's doing this. I kind of don't like this now, now that I'm seeing it offset. So what I'm going to do is let's go back into here and well, just put it back here just so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, or you know what? Just to make things simpler, let's forget about the graph editor here. I think what I'm going to do is for this back leg here, for this front leg, I'm just going to chop off the X position, and I'll just do it myself here on the front part here. So let's go ahead and let's sort of move this more or less here. And here in the back, I just want to make sure that it's the same. So here, bless you.
Thank you.
And then if we just offset this here a little bit, 15 frames. And then over here, that's going to be the start here. There we go, so I can do this. Now one thing I could do, now that I have both of these layers, I guess I could pre-compose this into a single layer. So we'll go to pre-compose. Now, what we can do here is you can move this over here, and we can just reposition this whole leg here to where we want, more or less like this. There, up. Let's do this. I'm going to pre-compose that, and I'm going to bring that to body. That's what that feels like here. There we go. So yeah, something like that. And then just to finish this off here, what I could do now with the arm, we could do some simple arm swinging. So here, if his back leg, his front leg is here, then I feel like the arm should be more or less like this. So let's go ahead and key that in. I'm going to take my my rotation. I'll tie it down here in the loop here at the end. On frame 15, we'll do the opposite here. So it's simply swinging back like that. That should be enough to convey the walk cycle there, right? But I could go and I could make it even more interesting here with puppet pins if we wanted to add some swinging of the arm here. Yeah, so we could do something like that. Let's try something out here. So far, so good, guys?
Yeah, so far so good.
Yeah?
Although I just think the body might need like a little shake and just to make it look more lively.
The body what needs a little shake?
Yeah, just to make it look more lively.
Well, what do you? No. Okay. Cool. Very cool. What do you mean by shake?
Shake is probably the wrong analogy. Like a little more movement, like
More movement. Well, no, it's not the wrong analogy at all. So how about what are you thinking? Maybe like the flopping of the ears and things like that.
Yeah, but also like the actual whole body or torso, just like make it like move like a little bit like back and forth.
Back and forth. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah. There would be that in real life. You would have like a little bit more movement, like from side to side and things. I'm actually going to keep it a little simple here, just because it's a cartoon and we have the limited time in the class. But you're absolutely right. You do want to see a little bit like more side to side movement and some rotation in the hips and things like that. You want to see that. So if we wanted to do something like that, one thing I thought of doing here is we can fake the rotation here with these different pieces, and that's why I did that. So let's enable those. Let's check out the ears first here. So maybe with the ears, let's see what we can do here. So with the ears, let's try that out to see what we can get here. So if I have his rotation, his position here, and we wanted him to feel like he's rotating, so here it's like he would be turning his head right here. So let's see. Over here, would he be, moving more like this, right? So, okay, I'm sorry, I forgot to key that here. So, here. Yes, and then here we key in a little key over here, and then here on frame 15, we can move them forward. So if you do something like this here, let's hide, let's see, what can we hide here to do that here? So maybe just to make it match, to have the ear, let's match the horn here to see what that does. So here, look, you know, something like this would kind of give you that idea of rotation, even though the character is kind of flat. If you're moving things sort of like on the side to sort of match the perspective here, you can kind of pull that off more or less. So let me see here. Let's do that, and then with that's ear 2 in this. What about this other ear? Yeah, let's do the same here with this one here. So we can transform here. We can go here to position, key that in here, and then here in frame 15, we can do that back a little ways like that, if that's kind of what you mean. So let's just check that out here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just for this, let's take that one horn here, and just to make things easier, that's the first horn, so horn 2 would need to follow ear 2. So let's do that. In fact, ear 2 is probably going to go behind the body as well. So here, that's more or less what you had in mind, more or less,
Yes.
right? So okay, so how about this ear here? What we could do, excuse me, not the ear, the horn. The horn is in a different spot, so we're gonna pull this over here, and I'm gonna take the position again, and then over here in the middle here, I think I'm gonna just put it somewhere over here just so it looks a little bit more right. So you can pull off some things like that, more or less. You know, it's not perfect, but
No, it's a start.
yeah.
It's getting into just you create industry quality.
Sorry?
I said to me it seems like industry quality to go to this length.
Yeah. And I know why that looks funny. We're missing it. Okay, we're missing a keyframe here. So I think it is. Yeah. Am I the wrong one? The right one? That's the right one. So let's put a little keyframe tying it down here and here.
Are you still teaching us to do that walk cycle?
Yeah, this is the assignment for, this is going to be the assignment for today. So I'm just trying to do some examples here, and I'll finish this up in just a second, Riley. But yeah, this is more or less the idea here. One last thing here that I'm just wanted to show you guys here, just so that you can, you know, some food for thought. Okay. So what if we wanted to have a little animation where this guy's just walking down the street, and let's say that he's the guy that we're using for your lyric video, right? Now all of a sudden, we want this guy singing, you know, we want this guy talking. So how do we do that? But we still want him walking, you know? So here, I think the point that I want to show you, this is a lot of work, what I'm talking about, but you could pull it off this way. You could save this out as a walk animation. The whole point, you guys, the main thing I want you guys to take away from this is like you guys can build things like in pieces, right? Compositions are like little reusable things. And so it would be smart for me to build a little animation of him walking. So if I need him walking in one direction, this is the one I want to do. If he stops and looks at the camera, then remember how I had this character and he's like, his feet are facing opposite directions, and he's like looking straight at the camera? Well, that might be a better choice for a composition where he's interacting with the camera, you know? So what I could do is I could make two compositions and swap them out for that moment here. Now check this out. For the composition, for the animation where he's walking down the street and he's talking or he's singing or whatever, you know, check this out. I could have a simple. Let me just show you what I mean. I could have a simple animation where let me make a variant here of this. I'm going to just duplicate walk, and let's go walk. No face. Okay, so here, let me jump in here, and I'm simply going to delete out the pieces that I don't need. So here, you know, I've got this little template here, and now what I can do here is I can go to, let's go back to walk, and I'm going to just take all these things here that I need. Let's go to eyes, all the way to mouth. And I'm going to copy this, and let's make a new composition. Or better yet, let's go to walk no face. And in here, I could just paste that back in here. And so now we have this here, and what we could do, or better yet, what we could do here is, let's actually borrow the body. Borrow the body here, and let's, let's take all this stuff back out. Copy that into a composition here. Let's go here, new composition. I'll make this last a lot longer. I'll make it last for 50 seconds because I don't know what I want to say. So let's paste this back in here, and let's take that line of dialogue that I was talking about here. So if I go to File, Import, you guys, and this is just this is a more advanced thing here. Okay, I don't need you guys doing this here. I just wanted to show you guys something interesting here. Yes, this. Here we are. All right, so I'm going to put that in my folder here and just bring this in. So I'm going to right-click and import this sound file. So I have this line of dialogue. This is the John Cleese clip from A Fish Called Wanda. And I'm going to, you see it comes in as a wave. I'm going to just bring that in here, and you can see this is the dialogue that I have. And this is a lot of stuff to animate. But if you have a listen to it here, it's like almost 30 seconds of dialogue, okay? So I am not going to do this here in this class. I'm not going to do all of it. I'll do a little bit just for you guys to get the point here of like what we could be doing here. So here.
All right,
listen.
I apologize. I'm really sorry. I apologize unreservedly.
Let's end it there. I apologize unreservedly. I'll just stop it there. We can trim the audio down to that bit here. And let's take the layers that I have here, and I'm just going to stretch them out so that we have enough to work with here. All right, so here, this is going to take a while, okay? And I'm not going to do everything here. I'm just going to do a couple of things here. So let's take. The main thing I want to do is the lip sync here. So let's go back to mouth here, and remember how I had a little mask here. I could take this mask here and make shapes. Now you guys can do this in different ways. If you guys wanted to just do frame by frame, you could draw what you call the phonemes in Photoshop or something. And basically what you're looking for there, the phonemes are basically the shapes that the mouth makes when he talks here. So here, I'm just going to do a couple of them here. I'm going to just use my vectors to do that here.
All right.
He's going, all right. So let's key in the mask path here. And here I wanted to sort of like form an A. So here his mouth is open on this frame, and over here on this frame it's kind of closed. So let's take this, and we could see. Let's play this.
All right.
All, yeah, it's a little tighter, so all right. And, you can do things here that's kind of interesting here. You can change his expression, based on, the dialogue or whatever.
All right.
And really what I would want to do here is I'd want to just zoom in here and get this a little tighter. One trick that we could do to match dialogue here is if you open up the wave here, open up the audio here, and then open up the waveform. See, it's really hard to, just to animate to sound here. But one little tip that you guys could do is you can open up the little waveform and you can see the peaks of the audio here, right? So here, if we wanted to here, I could line this up here and say.
All right.
right is that kind of that little thing right here.
All right.
And I can just copy and paste over here to this example here.
All right.
This is a P here, right here. This is the apologize. So when we make a P or a B sound,
You close the lips.
exactly. Yeah, and so you have a shape like this. So that's going to be one of the most visible phonemes in this little bit of dialogue here. So let's see.
All right. I apologize. I'm ready.
And then here, I think what I would do is just copy one of these again. Apologize. So this is a nice round shape. So here we have the P, and right here, this is the O shape. So I'll just go here and do this, and we can reshape this here to be more or less the O. And that's the really nice thing about the vectors here, see?
All right. I apologize.
Yeah, so, anyway, you guys, this is going to take work, okay? It's going to take work, it's going to take patience, and it's going to take some time of just me scrubbing back and forth just to go back and see that it's right here. But, I'm not going to complete it here in this exercise here. I just wanted to show you guys the technique here that you guys can do. Another technique you guys can do, I like this thing with the vectors here, because I can see a smooth transition from the shapes here. I like that, However, there are things out there that you guys could just do this straight up with little shapes, just sort of popping to each phoneme. I see this sometimes in some cartoons. I feel like I've seen this on things like Cartoon Network and things where the animation is very fast, but it holds frames. So if you hit, say, an A shape or something, or a certain phoneme, it's going to hold, and then it's just going to switch frame by frame. It's going to switch directly to the new phoneme. So that's a different style of animation. So you guys can do that too. But these are some kind of cool ideas of how you guys can work with some of these things. So in this little example here, I've shown you guys how to do some basic transform animation here with this. We've done some puppet pins, and here are some ideas for how to work with facial animations using masks and things like that. So you guys can combine some different things with these examples. Okay.